Lucien, you see darkness at first, which I think is starting to become a little bit of a theme for you. But you see something in the distance, and as it draws, it's almost like instantaneously you're there, and you find yourself in a kind of a gray expanse around you. There are plants, trees, but they're all a little bit nullified, dull, just slightly, just grayed a bit. Not in necessarily a bad way, but more of a, I think the word neutral really kind of plays here in how you would describe the setting around you. So you see these trees and plants, and you're standing, and in front of you is a small pond, a reflective pool, essentially. There's slight movement as you feel a breeze on you, and then you notice that there are feathers adrift in the landscape. Except at second glance, you notice they're slowly actually moving upwards instead of falling down. And the sound of distant wings is just a constant presence in the behind your ears. And then from the side, you would feel someone kind of walk up, and in front of you, as you see Chorus, and this is full Chorus, so complete golden eyes, as if he's retaken Quiet's body, and you can kind of see that radiant light coming from him as it was in those first few days of being around Quiet and Chorus. And Chorus pushes past you, and he walks to the side of the reflecting pool, and he looks across, and you notice a figure as Chorus goes to his knees, looking at this figure, and he says, "Do not be afraid. The breath of this place knows no judgment, only the truth you bring with you. Bow your head, Lucien. You stand before her." Standing across the reflecting pool, you see this figure is wearing, at first you notice the mask. Looks like what you'd recognize as a plague mask, something that is utilized in Soulmorn and you have seen when infection breaks out or something, some kind of illness. But as you're looking at it, you notice multiple tubes coming off of it and going into the large, what looks like maybe like a trench coat sort of look. And you notice that the coat is more made of black and silver feathers kind of flowing its way down. And as you are standing there, you kind of feel compelled to move forward, and you move to stand next to the kneeling Chorus. And this figure in front of you, through this mask, says, "You came here angry. That is all right. The living often are when they begin to see clearly." She removes her mask, and you see the face of a woman in maybe her early 60s. You see the wrinkles have taken her face, but in a way that shows reverence and not necessarily just age. And looking into her eyes, you see that they are a pale white, but not that there's nothing there, but almost the opposite, that there is everything there. And you notice at this point these ethereal ravens that are perched on her shoulders, kind of just moving and speaking, and you get little bits of voice coming from them, and she's looking at you while hearing all of this. She walks across the small reflecting pool, and as she does, you see that her feet just kind of hit the top of the water as she walks across it and comes to the side that you're standing on. And she says, You carry faith in one hand, fury in the other, and wonder why your soul feels torn. And then looks to you.
Yes, I feel lost. But I apologize for not bending the knee. I am confused.
She chuckles slightly and says, and Chorus is a stickler for old habits and just kind of shoves Chorus so he falls a little bit from his feet. There is no need to kneel. You, I imagine, don't even know who I am.
An aspect of the Raven Queen.
I am her. And I am hopeful to give you some guidance because, man, you feel lost.
How dare you? How dare you? I have devoted my life to the Dawn Father, the light, and you chose me to mark my face with your brands. And you made me feel dirty, and then you come to me and say that I am torn? You're the one who tore me. It's your fault.
She moves slightly and raises her hand up to your face, but then pauses and waits a second, kind of judging your reaction, and then moves closer and just kind of touches the side of your mask, kind of about where the cheek would be. And she says, you feel that this was forced on you solely by me and not an act of Lathander.
Therein lies my trouble. I have done everything right. I've pursued virtue with rigor. I have toiled endless hours to relieve my fellow man so that in the end, in the practice of my faith, I may hear his voice. And all I have heard is external forces saying that I am wrong, saying that I am a fool. I hurtled through a painted sky on a rock because I dove into vice, because I abandoned what I thought was truth. And I met with more uncertainty, and I don't know how to handle that. So yes, I am torn, and yes, I am angry, and I am lost.
She turns slightly to the side and waves her hand like this, and you see a small wooden bench appear right there, just kind of through the fog. And she sits down, and then you see Chorus stand and start to come over, and she's like, and then looks at you and pats the seat next to her. And she's gonna keep talking, but do you start to move to go sit, or are you gonna stay standing?
Yeah, I'll go sit and probably face straight forward for the time being.
Okay. As you move to do that, she is tilt a little bit slightly in your direction, but not like full on, you know. And she says, I don't blame you for having the frustrations that you have now. I think that the world as it exists now is so dark and void of real answers, and instead have so many real answers about that it's hard to distinguish which is which. I think that you mentioned so many things that are coming from the outside. I'm curious, Lucien, what do you hold inside right now? Is there anything left?
Um, I don't know. I I want to think that I held a light within in my heart and in my soul, and that I have shed that to other people, but now I don't even know if that is worth pursuing. I feel like every time I do something good, there is something horrific that is done or said or experienced as a direct correlation between my actions. I mean, we went to save a child, and the more lives were lost, and with that act came my own confusion. Is that selfish of me to say that? To even question that? If I would have preferred no confusion at all, does that mean that I would have preferred not to save the child?
Lucien, I think that you're describing what it is to be human. And I think that you might view someone out there in the world with all of these answers, making decisions and moving about the world with sheer confidence in what they're doing, but that doesn't exist. And in reality, guilt is the last prayer of the righteous. I try often to intervene and have been met with nothing but failure for a long time. But I'm going to continue because I know in here that the purpose of what I'm doing is right. Whether or not someone may take that and manipulate it later, I don't know. I can't control that. We can go into it and we can hope, but I think that, Lucien, you are judged by the actions that you take and not by the actions of those around you in how they interpret the things that you do.
I just don't understand why. It's so hard, and I'm so tired, and I just don't feel strong enough to shoulder this burden that feels like it is continuing to grow in complexity. Why not someone like Alexios, who's strong and capable and full of will? Even Crow is cunning and a tactful warrior. I mean, Karina, I feel like sometimes I am the only one who sees how destined for great things she is. Why isn't she? Why does it feel like the least suited person for this compulsion to want to be help to others is foisted upon me? I don't feel like I'm enough.
I know with all certainty that you are the right man for the job because you are the one willing to ask if you are. Your doubt you hold against yourself as if it is poison, but your doubt is what makes you the man that you are. It makes you the man that you could be. The most devout are not those without doubt. They may be the ones with the most doubt. And if you take someone and try to force in them this ability to have no doubt, then you end up with an operator that is void of being able to make the difficult decisions because they don't line up with the thing they set out to do. And she just kind of points a little bit over at Chorus, who's just currently looking in the reflecting pool.
I am afraid that that there is a choice before me, and I don't know first what the choice is, and I doubt that I doubt my ability to make the right one.
It's awfully presumptuous of you to think that there's just one right answer and a wrong answer. The world doesn't exist like that, and my machinations and, for the lack of a better word, scheming is not going to end in a one-moment choice by 7 haphazardly thrown together group members. You divine your path each and every day by examining the steps you took the day before. It isn't a culmination of one choice, it's a culmination of 1,000 choices that lead to 1,000 different outcomes, and many of them pleasant and some of them harsh. But you're looking forward as if there's 2 doors ahead of you, and there's so many. And there's also the option to just bail and light those doors on fire and run away. I hope that you don't. I have plans that I would love to have your help with. But even if I don't end up in a situation where I can use your help, I hope that you find solace in the path that you're walking and not spend your life worried about the path you might take a week from now.
It is so difficult to not. Everything that I have believed hinges upon a dichotomy of decisions. It's either right or it's wrong, and I had no idea the complexity of good. I thought that it was a one door. But I have seen so many things in a matter of days. I've seen people who are tormented by darkness. I've seen art in motion. I've seen the past haunt so many of them. And I want to be, if not for the world, it seems too grand, if just for them. If I could just be a binding force instead of one that drives them apart. I don't know if that's part of your plans, but I don't want to lose them.
Lucien, you will have my support in most of the ways that you could decide to live your life. There are a few where even if we became adversaries, I still hope for you. I still want to see good things for you. And a lot of that has to do with the empathy that you have for others and the way that you feel that necessary draw to be the glue that binds your group. because they need it. They are a chaotic mess. And the reason you fit well, sir, is you are also a chaotic mess.
Yes, I will not argue with you there. I just feel that this I'm not angry with you. I think that I'm confused by my blindness. If it has made me fail to see other things before, I mean, if you'd see me at a party, I'm clueless. I don't. There's so many things that still feel ahead of me at this point in my life, and I don't know.
You don't have to know. Honestly, there are so many things ahead of you. Some of them awesome. Some of them horrific. You aren't out of the woods, per se. You're still going to go through so much. And in that, I hope you still continue to have doubt. The thing that I hope that you can do different for yourself is to find that doubt as supportive and not adversarial. And you should doubt me. You should doubt what I'm even doing here. And I think that that's healthy. I think that's good because it will allow you to connect the pieces that others don't see. And at one point you did not see. You use the word blindness, but I think that blindness was just hope in something. And the difference is that as someone who has followers, I know that respect goes both ways. But I also know that there are fragments of followers who blindly lead. And it can be difficult when you have to take so much on faith, which to follow. It's hard to tell the difference. But I think that's something you have to answer for yourself.
I understand. I guess my question is, these plans that you said you have, what are they? Is there an end game? Are we as a collective on the right track?
A long time ago, there was a man on a boat. He had many fellow sailors with him, but there was a great storm that damaged the boat and killed everyone until he was the lone survivor floating adrift in the ocean. He prayed to others, including myself, for rescue. And something about the way he prayed spoke to me. It wasn't the words, it was I don't know, something about the tone of him reminded me of maybe someone from my past, but it connected in a way, and I felt compelled to do the right thing. And I used my power to push him in the direction of an island. On that island were a group of people untouched by those of the mainland. And they welcomed him, they fed him, got him back to health, and then helped him build a boat for him to be able to return back to his people. And in those moments, I saw so much joy and things to rejoice because of this action, this right action. And then I watched as this man, when he made it back to the mainland, told many others of the resources on this island. And I can see from your face, you can tell where this is going, but I'm going to continue anyways because it's important. And he took many ships, sailed back, and took everything that island had. And I found myself wondering what went wrong in the good act that I did. And for a long time after that, I stopped listening. Because I found that there was no way to tell the difference between a prayer from the innocent and a prayer from a monster. And in those days that I chose to do nothing, I was distracted enough to allow horrible things to happen. And I was resolved in my inaction because I had a lesson. And that lesson taught me that as long as I did nothing, I was not the direct cause of anything. And I was wrong. And I am now sitting beside you as one of the last remaining gods of a pantheon that have all been murdered because of my inaction. Lucien, you will never know if the thing that you're about to do is the right thing as you judge it from the future looking backwards. And I can also tell you, as a traveler between life and death, and someone who has been able to bear witness the judgment of many souls, that you are not judged by the eventualities. You're judged by what you did at the moment you did it. You have got to be able to find a way to separate out the thing you know you should do and the third-party consequences from that action. Because I can promise you that if you find nothing but inaction moving forward, Lucien, this world will be a terrible place more than it is now.
I understand. I just don't know if... Can you answer a question for me, please? And if you don't have the answer, that is fine. I have to ask it. I thought that I drew holy light directly from my connection to the Dawn Father? Is he gone?
Lathander and I have disagreed on many things. I also think sometimes he's kind of an arrogant jerk. But in many things we align. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that your ability to call on the light is directly from a part of him. But that connection is a short, narrow interaction. And I think that sometimes you may add additional stops along that road and give false equivalency.
I feel that if we have trials to come, that an opening of the floodgates, I would be lying if something like that didn't interest me, for just an increase of my own ability to affect the good that I believe I could do. But if the channel is narrow, how can it be widened? Do I need to leave myself open to other connections?
Lucien, you're looking for guidance while at the beginning of this conversation also complaining about the amount of external force on you. I have, I think, many answers to widen that road, but I also think it's important that you find that a little on your own. And I don't mean that to give you more frustration and be another wall that you've ran into, but I think that you hide somewhat, and sometimes unsuccessfully, a fury inside because you don't know the answer. And you need to figure that out, for whatever form that may take. And in that moment, you guys hear as if somebody has dropped a rock in the pond, and it draws your attention to the reflecting pool. As you see a rock come out of the water and then land at your feet. And the Raven Queen stands and walks to the edge of the pool. Walks to the edge of the pool and looks down in it as you hear laughter coming from the pool. Chorus also stands and takes a defensive stance. As you hear, so this is where you hide your broken ones, Raven Queen. A lovely mausoleum for faith. And you looking into the reflecting pool see the outline of Isman. The Raven Queen, looking at the pool, says, "You tread where you are not welcome, eater of names." Names? I don't eat names, mother. I devour lies. And then he grins and looks over at you, Lucien. Tell me, did your God ever bleed for you? Or do all of them only ask that you bleed for them?
You know how I'm going to answer that question.
You got me. I have an ulterior motive. I can feel your doubt. I can feel your hesitancy, and I can feel that some of the words from the old bat have calmed the waters. But she's leaving out so much.
And what is she leaving out, Isman?
I can widen your road. And the Raven Queen puts her hand on your shoulder and says, Lucien, do not answer his hunger. It echoes your anger, not your truth. Power taken without reverence rots from within. He would have you feast until you forget what hunger was for. And then Isman laughs and looks to the Raven Queen. Oh, I remember hunger well. It was the sound of gods telling me no. And then back to you. And tell me, little priest, do they ever say yes? Even now, you're at your last stitch effort. You're so angry inside, and you come here and then she gives you soft words, but then nothing else. Isn't it time for action? Isn't it time to do something? The gods are parasites, Lucien. They're parasites of praise. You call it worship. They call it fuel. And here's another bartering for you.
As he continues to talk, I will gently remove her hand from my shoulder and continue to listen to him.
Okay. With that, I mean, she doesn't do anything but move her hand down. I was a believer once. I think I've told you this. If not, it's a fascinating story we'll get to sometime. But I was a believer. I was devout. I prayed. I lived a good life. I did everything that I was supposed to do. I gave everything away. I did only for others. And I was left with nothing. I was left to rot. I was left alone. And then I found belief tastes better than bread. And I understood why they were the way they were. Because they were greedy. And they wanted to keep it for themselves. They understood what we could do when we could stand on our own. And they blinded us from it. They told us that we had to pray, that we had to kneel. Do you see me kneeling now? Do not pray, no. Lucien. Do not pray. Consume. Make the world remember you.
The last time that we talked, you said that the gods were hope. Or at least they tasted like it. I don't need the masses to shower me with praise. I search to be a hope for them, though.
Do you see me shouting my own name from the rooftops? I come in silence. I move in the shadows. I have existed for centuries, and you did not know my name until I told it to you. Because I also do not want praise. I am a man of action. I am a man that believes the obstacles are in front of us not to learn a lesson, but to be obliterated so that those that follow me have nothing in their way. Now, granted, I want some things. I have not hid that. But mostly I want to break the fucking chains they put on all of us. That we are supposed to just be happy they let us exist. That we are supposed to worship them because they provided us life. Like we fucking asked for it. It's like being born in a prison cell and then thanking the guards for keeping you there. And then at this point, Chorus interjects. He lies in the shape of truth. Do not listen to him. His stomach is full of stars, but he's forgotten the sky. You continue to speak in riddles, you fucking ignorant mouthpiece. Neither of them know what they're talking about because they're blinded by their own bullcrap.
Whereas I've seen the stars, and they seem vast and unchanged, uncaring. While I don't agree with your methods, Isman, I appreciate the candid way you converse.
He starts to say something else, but then his reflection in the pool starts to ripple. And you see that he's starting to lose a little bit of his grip on maintaining his presence here. He hasn't been showing it up to this point, but it is requiring a lot of him to actually be visible here. And you see him start to distort. And he says, "He heard me, Queen of Ravens. One day he'll hunger." And then fade out, kind of leaving this conversation not quite finished, but as much as he could. And at this point, Chorus kicks a couple of rocks into the reflecting pool, and then walks a few steps away, like towards this tree, and just kind of like stands there, kind of feeling the weight of everything that just happened. As the Raven Queen, also still feeling that weight as well, looks over back to you. You will meet him again, obviously. He has... I can't put the right word to him, but I will say for now, tactical presence in your mind. And I understand that. I have worked to build a group of people that represent power to be able to help those that need it. And I have also watched that power absolutely corrupt. And so I give you just this warning that as in the analogy that we gave earlier, this road that you wish to widen, make more efficient, there is a reason that it takes time to build roads that stand for centuries. There are always quicker paths, Lucien. And if you feel the need that you must travel one of those, I can't guarantee the stability of the road that you end up on. But it is absolutely your decision.
Thank you.
Now, to something else, if you would allow me, I have a favor.
Yes.
It took a lot of the not infinite power that remains here, and she just kind of gestures around, to bring you here. And I felt it was important that you were the one to come, but I do have a message for the others. If you would carry that for me.
Yes.
First, to Mira. She, in some ways, feels similarly to you in that there is only 2 doors in front of her and she has to pick one of those. When there is so many possibilities in front of her. And I think that she needs your guidance to be able to discover that false dichotomy. Because right now she's trapped in that indecision. Now, I'm also going to not just give riddles, but say more bluntly that she has a predestined and ordained path. While it is still her choice whether she gets onto it or not, even choosing to get onto it, she still has options. The prophecy in and of itself can be fulfilled in many different ways. And in many of those, I can see happiness for her. So please help her to see that also. For Crow, I would like for you to remind him that he is fully aware of his connection with Mira and the oaths he took and what they mean. But he also has to find the flavor of life inside of the oaths. Because an oath man who is nothing but an oath man has nothing.
You are assuming that I can even get him to listen. It's an extremely difficult and infuriating task that I'm not... With each growing interaction, I grow less and less keen to try and take up.
I will admit that on this one, I give a small asterisk as just try.
That is fair.
But I will also say that, Lucien, you are a man of words. They come from you in hope, and they come from you in anger, and they come from you in so many different places. And I know that to you sometimes that feels like a bad thing, but it is such a blessing and an amazing thing to be able to always have the way to say the things you feel. Even when you're confused, you portray that confusion with such elegance. Crow does not have that ability. There is much more hidden behind him. I wish that you could see the life that he has led. And it is not my place to divine that, because it is his. But I can just warn you that if you knew what he has gone through, I think that the Lucien that you are would find an infinite pool of sympathy. And that does not mean that you must take abuse. The privilege of your help is still something that must be respected.
I don't care about how he speaks with me. It bothers me how he. I want to crack the lens with which he sees others, and specifically Karina. I am sure that there is a message for her, but I dislike how he treats her, even if past has not been kind between them and between the two of them.
A crow loves hard and hates equally. In the amount of ferocity that he shows for Karina now, imagine that paralleled in love, and you would see how he felt at one time. I don't think that that gives an excuse. I think that if I had him here, I would have him over my knee for some of the things that he has said. But he is a man with his ability to choose as well. And a moment ago, whenever I said that your help is a privilege, you can hold that standard of respect for those around you and not just for yourself. So if you feel the need for it, draw a line in the sand, and if Crow does not respect it, then that's on Crow. That's not on you. But I can tell you that if you can get through the hard candy shell, there is a soft gooey center.
There is a nougat center. Yeah.
For Alexios, I would like for you to ask him about where he comes from. And he's not gonna know much. And it's important that he finds out who he is. I think that he knows this, and he's searching, and he's doing that, but I think that he could use a friend that recognizes the hole that it has left inside of him. For Karina, I actually think that it is important to not complicate all of what she is going through currently in trying to give some type of wisdom snippet that's only going to drive her, I don't even know in what direction. So if you feel the context warrants it, let her know that I see her and I feel with her. But if you think it would be better to say nothing than say nothing. For quiet, I would like for you to tell him that he absolutely does have a voice. Regardless of what that guy over there says.
I'll look over to him.
Right
He
now,
does say quite a lot.
right now he's just like punching the bark, like just to let off a little bit of steam. The only thing that I ask is that he allow for the next step of your adventure, and then if he still feels as if this is not his place, I will command it of Chorus to let him be free.
I think that I don't presume myself to be able to ask things of a god, but from the moment that I met Quiet, I felt that there was a voice, and that he tries to drown out one by drowning out his. And I would just ask that if you could hold back the tide from time to time and let him choose his own path.
You know,
I think you may be surprised with what he chooses.
You know, it's interesting that before Chorus found him, he used to sing. And it was beautiful. And I'm worried that I broke that and robbed the world of something that it needed, to replace it with something that I felt needed it slightly more. But I think it's apt that he has found the moniker Quiet, because some of what he's going through is because he isn't listening. But I also recognize the hardships that I have assigned all of you as being those that are chosen. I recognize the scars that are mine that you all wear for me. And while on one wing I apologize, on the other, I'm going to give you more. And I hope that what you choose to do with them you all find happiness. And she looks over at Chorus and she says, Chorus, you have taken on your oath to me with such passion, but the methodology of trying to enact my will specifically as outlined has forced you to become more of an obstacle than a tool. And I think that is my fault, because I set you up for failure. But you know what we went through in the final days of the Golden Halls. You know the expedited nature that we ended up having to pull our plans through. And I hope that you can look to this group that you are with and find them worthy, because they are. And Chorus, he's hard to read. I mean,
from the pure radiance.
I mean, honestly, he's a little hard to look at because of that, even. So.
Yeah.
But he says, I only move forward in the expedited capacity in which I do because I am afraid that if I stand still, I will continue to watch those around me die. And she looks over at you and for a second shares a small glance of like, oh, that was kind of cute. And then and then looking back at Chorus, she says, you are all on your way home. You have to remember that you're on your way together, and that leading is not the same thing as demanding those behind you follow. And she looks at you and says, you too. You're a group of people that all in their own ways can be leaders and will need to be leaders in the time that comes next. But I think that there's still a little bit of growing that you all need to do together, but that's natural. It's just staying together and seeing what comes out the other end.
And then Lucien will feel for the compass, and he says, "And what about Lyra?"
It seems right now that Lyra has her prayers answered in who she just recently met. But there are dark waters beneath his surface. She should mind herself, should she find herself lost in open water.
I will be there if that is the case.
I really see so many possibilities for so many of you, and that's a very good example of, depending on the choices that boy makes, where she may find herself. She just kind of gets lost in her own thoughts for a second. And she says, there will be a few more opportunities in the future for the group to decide whether or not they want to move together as one or separate. I want to give you a very explicit task. Still up to you to take on, but I want it to be very direct and give you no doubt in meaning. Try your hardest to keep everybody together through your hometown. And at the conclusion of that visit, feel no more obligation to me. If it feels more right to you, and she touches your chest, that you should no longer try for that.
Okay.
Either way.
That is a fair.
Oh, go ahead.
That is a fair task to. That's a fair task to ask of me.
And either outcome leads to so many different possibilities. So the best thing about this task is there really is no way to feel that you failed it.
Thank you.
She turns and starts to walk away, and you see her bend and pick up a feather that's on the ground, examine it, and then put it in her pocket. And then just disappear into the fog.
If there are feathers around, I will also try and pluck one out of the air if they're still swirling about.
Oh, I am
And then
so glad that you decided to do that. As you grab, do you happen to have any dice with you?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Stay strapped.
Okay, cool. Roll a d6 and tell me what you get.
That's a 6.
Okay. As you touch the feather, one that was just kind of floating up at an angle like this, you reach out and you try to go to pluck it. And as your fingers clasp onto it, you feel a booming voice in your mind of a child. It's hard to make out by voice, boy or girl, if that's the only context that you get, but they're speaking very loudly about how bad they want to play a certain game tomorrow, and they hope that it will come to fruition, but obviously in a very kiddish way. And then you feel like you can't maintain, like your head is going to explode, and so you let go. And Chorus is standing there now, kind of smirking at you. And he says, "The ones in the air are prayers, and the ones on the ground are souls we've lost. We are in the in-between, Lucien. Mind your step."
How many feathers are on the ground?
Too many to count. Oh, go ahead.
I am too curious. I will grab 2 more if I can, just to ensure that they are, because I am not convinced that these will be heard before they fall. I will take whatever time I can, actually, and listen to as many as I can.
Interesting.
Specifically with the knowledge that the conversation before, I'm not convinced that they will be heard, and it's important to me that they are.
Yeah. Roll a D10.
Nine.
Jeez. Okay. You're gonna get through 9 of these, and then you're gonna find that you are starting to take damage around the 6th, 7th one, and you push through until literally grabbing another one of these is going to knock you out. And at which point, Chorus has been watching this the whole time, and he says, as you stop on your 9th grab and you're kind of standing there, he says, I do not wish to be an adversary of you. I don't know the term friend, but I am willing to define it. And as you've been going through, you're getting bits and pieces of these. Roll a d4 now.
3.
Okay. Out of the ones that you've touched, he's going to grab 3, and he's going to be able to maintain it. And he takes it, and he goes like this, kind of putting it through his hand. And you see that it kind of now has a golden haze on it. And he does this to 3 of them, but he hands the 3 of them to you. And a little bit cautiously, you take it, and you find that it is now just a soft, it's just a soft communication, essentially, that is no longer segmented and loud, but whole. And he nods for you to take them. And he says, "Come, Lucien. The living waits for us. Maybe we will find time to help a few." And then you guys leave from there.
And I still have those 3 feathers?
Yes. Yeah, you're going to hold on to those. Whenever you appear back, you are going to be standing on the roadside, looking forward. Bits of your companion's items strewn about as you are looking at the remnants of a battle. And you see blood on the ground. And we'll see what happens next.
Man. Oh goodness.